cherry blossoms! What is happening to my face? That was so weird.
Our story begins in 2011, on Christmas Day. We see a young girl standing all alone, looking sad. Around her, every other child is happily celebrating with their parents, opening gifts and enjoying the holiday. But no one is there for her, leaving her heartbroken. Just then, someone quietly walks up to her, although we aren't shown who it is. In the next scene, we see the same girl at home. After 7 long years, her father finally returns. Filled with regret, he tells her that he made the biggest mistake of his life and should have stayed by her side. He apologizes over and over for what happened 7 years ago, breaking down in tears. He even brings a cake for her, hoping to make things right. As he's about to take a sip of his drink, the girl quickly stops him and says she'll bring him another one instead. She secretly throws the drink away because there was something suspicious in it. While she's pouring him a glass of water, the man suddenly reveals his true colors. He coldly says, "I should have killed you along with your mother. You told everyone that I murdered her." It turns out he has just been released from prison after 7 years. The moment he says those words, he lunges at his own daughter and starts choking her. She desperately struggles to fight back, but she's too weak to escape. Just when everything seems hopeless, a single bullet tears through the air and strikes the man, killing him instantly. The shooter is a young woman standing on top of a distant building. The little girl eventually reaches that building, where she sees the words "Merry Christmas." We then return to the opening scene, revealing that the mysterious girl who approached her earlier was the drama's female lead, Bona. Bona gently tells the little girl, "You don't need to cry. It's Christmas today." Before leaving, Bona tells her to keep her window open and not to turn off the lights that night. The little girl realizes that Bona was the one who saved her. From a distance, Bona silently watches over her before walking away. 15 years pass, bringing us to the present day. Now we see Bona living a happy life with her family. She has a loving husband and a young daughter, and everything seems peaceful. As everyone gets ready for the day, Bona's husband, Taeyang, who works as a reporter, prepares to leave for work. Before he heads out, Bona reminds him, "Don't be late, and you do remember tomorrow is my special day, right? Don't forget." Smiling warmly, Taeyang replies, "How could I ever forget a day like that?" With those words, he leaves the house, completely unaware of what fate has in store for them. Bona is on her way to school with her daughter. As they're driving, she notices a suspicious car following them. The vehicle suddenly speeds past and disappears, but Bona simply ignores it and continues on her way. After dropping her daughter off at school, several other moms invite Bona to grab a cup of coffee together. She happily joins them, and before long, the group starts chatting and gossiping. They wonder how working mothers manage to balance their careers while raising children. One of the women mentions another mom who successfully handles both her job and family, saying it's truly admirable. Meanwhile, Bona walks over to pick up everyone's coffee. Just then, a hot cup is about to spill onto a small child. With lightning-fast reflexes, Bona catches it in time and saves the child from getting burned. The conversation soon shifts to Bona herself. She reveals that she'll be returning to work the very next day after taking a 10-year career break to raise her daughter. The other moms are shocked. They tell her that no ordinary company would ever allow someone to take 10 years off, which makes them wonder just how important her job must be. Elsewhere, we meet Shang, who receives an anonymous tip telling him to visit the Musan nightclub, where illegal drugs are reportedly being sold. Without wasting a second, he heads there to investigate. At the same time, Bona receives a call from her mother-in-law and goes to visit her. Her mother-in-law gives her some homemade kimchi for her granddaughter. However, it's obvious that the relationship between them isn't very warm. Bona always treats her mother-in-law with respect, but the older woman is quite rude toward her. Instead of helping, she orders Bona to chop a large pile of cabbages while she goes outside to relax. Fortunately, Bona's sister-in-law is much kinder and treats her with genuine respect. While Bona is busy in the kitchen, one of the neighborhood women stops by and tells her mother-in-law that the owner of a nearby hotel has raised the rent again. Before long, the conversation turns into gossip about Bona, and the two women begin criticizing her behind her back. Inside the kitchen, Bona receives a message saying there's a huge sale happening at a nearby store. Suddenly, she reveals her incredible speed and effortlessly chops all the cabbages in record time. She quietly leaves the house while the two women are left completely stunned, wondering how she managed to finish everything so quickly. Later, Bona goes shopping. While she's there, she notices the store manager treating one of his employees terribly. Unable to stay silent, Bona steps in and teaches the rude manager a lesson he won't forget. Meanwhile, Song arrives at the nightclub. Later that evening, Bona returns home, where she receives a text from her husband saying he'll be working late and won't make it home early. She pouts for a moment but can't help smiling. Back at the nightclub, Song has already started his investigation. Hidden inside his wristwatch is a tiny camera that's secretly recording everything. He begins following a suspicious man. Soon, the man's driver complains of severe stomach pain, forcing the boss to drive off alone. Song immediately follows him in a taxi. As the taxi continues down the road, the driver suddenly stares ahead in shock. Moments later, the suspicious man's car explodes in a massive blast. The entire vehicle is engulfed in flames, leaving no chance of survival. From a distance, we see a mysterious figure watching the explosion. He quietly says, "May your soul rest in peace, and I hope you're never reborn." The following morning, Bona drops her daughter off at school once again. Afterwards, she heads to her workplace, finally returning to the life she left behind 10 years ago. Bona drives at high speed and arrives outside Kdrama Electronics. That's when we learn that she's actually one of the company's directors. 4 team members work directly under her, and we'll get to know each of them as the story unfolds. Meanwhile, we cut back to Song, who arrives at the police station. Later that night, a detective questions him because he's become a suspect. Song explains that he's an investigative reporter and that he went to the Musan nightclub after receiving an anonymous tip claiming that illegal drugs were being sold there. However, the detective tells him not to interfere with the investigation and says they'll contact him if they need anything else. Song also tries calling the anonymous informant, but the caller is terrified of getting involved. He's already thrown away his SIM card to erase any connection to the case. The following day, Song meets the same detective again, hoping to gather more information about the victim. He learns that the man who died was Mr. Bay, and the police have confirmed it wasn't an accident. It was a carefully planned murder. Back at Kdrama Electronics, Bona's team leader, Mr. Kim, informs her that an urgent mission has just come in. Bona calmly replies that she'll finish the assignment before the evening because she has to pick up her daughter from school and her husband will be home soon. She drives away in a luxury car and arrives at an old church, which serves as the team's secret meeting point. After taking an elevator to the top, she meets another teammate named Yong-do, who quickly briefs her on the mission. He points to a nearby case. Inside it is a sniper rifle. Bona assembles the weapon, takes position, and locks onto her target through the scope. Calmly, she says, "Let's begin my first meeting." She pulls the trigger, and with a single perfectly aimed shot, the target drops instantly. The mission is a complete success. Everyone celebrates the flawless operation. Mr. Kim quietly faces the wall and says, "May your soul rest in peace, and I hope you're never reborn." We now realize that he was the mysterious man who spoke those exact words after the previous explosion. Later, Bona picks up her daughter from school and returns home. That evening, her husband arrives with his face partially covered. At first, Bona is upset because he's late, but before long, Song manages to cheer her up. He makes her laugh, and the tension between them completely disappears. After dinner, the family goes to bed. However, Bona quietly leaves the house and visits a flower shop, where an elderly woman greets her. The old woman asks, "What will happen if your husband ever discovers who you really are?" Bona softly replies, "I never want him to find out the truth about me." As she walks home, we're shown a flashback of the day Song proposed to her. At that time, Song had no idea who Bona really was. He didn't know her real identity, her past, or the dangerous life she had lived. All he knew was that he loved her. He confessed his feelings with complete sincerity. Touched by his honesty, Bona fell in love with him as well and said, "This is my first time loving someone, so please take good care of me." The next morning, the news reports that another man has been assassinated by a sniper rifle. The victim is identified as Kingfisher, a notorious serial gun killer. When Song hears the report, he immediately stands up and begins staring at Bona's photograph, wondering if she could somehow be connected to these mysterious killings. At the same time, Bona receives a mysterious package at her office. Inside are several flowers and a stack of photographs. The first picture shows her family. The second shows the church where she carried out the assassination. The moment she sees those photos, Bona realizes that someone knows everything: her real identity, her secret missions, and even the truth about her family. And with that shocking revelation, episode 1 comes to an end. See you in the next episode. Until then, lights, camera, goodbye.